Okay. The theme for me that best captures and identifies this time period would be diversity. Like the definition of the word diversity, the people we learned about this week, John Smith, Pocahontas, Anne Hutchinson, and Anthony Johnson, were all uniquely different in their race, class, gender, and ethnic backgrounds. I found it very interesting and different from what I knew about the storyline between Pocahontas and her relationship with John Smith. Pocahontas' role of being a woman born into the elite family of a native Indian tribe afforded her some luxuries that other women of her time would probably not have been allowed to do. Although she was, um, although she was expected and a favorite of her father, she was expected to learn women's work and know how to be an adult woman. Although we never know the true story of the encounter between John Smith and Pocahontas and the fact that she did save his life, we do know that there was a relationship for quite some time between the Powhatan Indian tribe and the English settlers of John Smith. The English continued to trade with the Powhatan tribe, but their relationship would become strained. Calling John Smith his son, Natagort, Chief Powhatan would send gifts of food to the starving English. Pocahontas accompanied these envoys since she was a sign of peace to the English. The role of Anne Hutchinson in our history shows the tenacity of a woman in an age where women were certainly not expected to be outspoken, let alone stand up for herself in front of a panel of men who judged her to be wrong in her convictions. She had to be one of the most courageous women in our history to withstand that trial and fight for what she believed in, even if that meant excommunication from the society in which she lived. As for Anthony Johnson, who was an African American enslaved to an English tobacco plantation owner, it was unbelievable that he later became a landowner himself, which was an impressive feat for not only for an African American, but a freed African American slave. Although he nearly lost his life at the hands of the Powhatan Indians, he and 4 other men survived the attack of the Indians at Jamestown. To have lived such a long life as Anthony Johnson had, he must have been a very strong and smart person to end up marrying, raising 4 children, and owning their own land, which was unheard of in those days. Also, he, as court records would indicate, Anthony Johnson was well respected in his community, which many African Americans at the time were not. I think the issue that surprised me the most was that Anthony Johnson was a landowner who in turn had slaves that worked on his land. For someone who experienced that enslavement himself, I was very surprised that he would enslave other human beings. I have a hard time understanding why someone who experienced that would do that to somebody else as well. I was also surprised to find out some of the details of John Smith's life and the fact that he fought the Holy Roman Empire. He fought with the Holy Roman Empire against the Ottoman Turks. Also that he went on to become a Turkish slave who ended up overpowering his captor and traveled back to England almost 11,000 miles away. I thought to myself, this John Smith really has 9 lives. Also, thanks for posting the pictures of Jamestown. Maybe someday I'll be able to get there. Okay.